Thank you, Dr. Nikhil. I would also like to thank Dr. Lalit Verma and AIS for providing us the opportunity to present this topic. So I'll be talking on private practice scenario. What are the needs and practice patterns? So this is a non-academic talk. I have no financial interests, and it's my personal point of view. It is not necessary for everyone to agree with my point. So why private practice? Money. So main thing is money. Everybody, of course, if you're doing job somewhere else, your salary will be fixed. In a private practice, as you grow, your income will increase, and you'll have your practice will be growing. Name and fame, yes, of course. As your practice grows, you become famous, and patients will come on your name, and not on some other hospital's name. Of course, you can provide a high quality eye care, which will give you a highest satisfaction. But always remember, money is a byproduct of good work, and not you should not go behind money, but you should always be concerned about the high quality eye care, which will give you good satisfaction. But nowadays, in today's scenario, there are a lot of challenges what we face in private practice. Like in urban areas, you have a lot of competition as the concentration of practitioners is more. There are a lot of charitable eye hospitals which have come up, which are doing a good work, but of course, for a private practitioner, due to charity, the number of patients coming might be less. Also, the unreal costs of the real estate. To start a private practice, you have to have a lot of funding to have a big space. That is one of the challenges we face. What we face in a peripheral or a rural areas is a cross-pathy menace. What I personally feel is like, are you Ayurvedic or homeopathy ophthalmologists? They are creating a real menace for real doctors. So, as in the previous talk, Dr. Nikhil has mentioned, you should have invest the funds judiciously. You should have proper financial planning from the beginning. The location of your hospital, as he has told, should be easily accessible. You should have good and presentable interiors. Your place should be neat, clean, and tidy. One thing should be important is there should be no compromise on quality of your instruments. So, if you start individual or solo practice, what are the advantages? If you're going solo, the main thing is you're the boss. There's no sharing of income, and also you get 100% benefits of your growth. But going solo also has many disadvantages. Like in the initial, all the investment, whichever it's high, you have to invest it personally. So due to lack of funds, your working may be compromised, the setup might be compromised, and you have to compromise in a small setup. All the risk, whatever the patient's risk and everything risk is on your head, and also there is no security for family in case of any mishap. So why not go for a group practice? Like as my brother has told, we are practicing. It's kind of a group practice, family practice. You can group, if you're an anterior segment surgeon, you can find a like-minded person and a like-minded VR person, so you can complete your practice. Or if you're a VR surgeon, you can find someone who is doing anterior segment, and you can have a good group practice. So why group practice? Main thing is your investment is always shared. Suppose one can afford a place worth 75 lakhs. In a group of 3, you can either invest 25 lakh each for same, or you can have a space 3 times bigger. So that is one big advantage in a group practice. The other thing is, whatever instruments you have, you can optimize the utilization of the instruments. Suppose you are in a solo practice, instruments like investigating instruments like perimetry, OCT or OT instruments, they are hardly used for maximum 2 to 3 hours per day. But if you are in a group practice and many surgeons, then they are using all the times, the instruments would be utilized more. So as there are no financial constraints in a group practice, you can hire more people with a better quality, as the salary also gets divided. As you can hire more people and train staff, because as he has told, the staff comes more in contact with the patients, your practice eventually will grow. You can pay them better than the market, and as you are paying them better, there will be better retention and happy and spirited staff. And you can just remember, a happy and spirited staff definitely will help you improve or increase your practice, or you grow your practice. The other main important thing is, if you are in a group practice, it is a stress buster. Having partners hugely reduces stress of clinical works, particularly in today's world. Even if, like he has mentioned, a case of endophthalmitis, person facing a situation like that alone would be very stressful. But if you have someone who can share, then the stress is always reduced. Even like when we have some difficult cases, it is very easy if we difficult if it is easy as we discuss and we can solve the problems. Like in on table, there are expertise of your partner is available in complications like nucleus drop. The patient can be treated in one sitting. As like he is an anti-segment surgeon, if he is operating a cataract surgery and if by chance there is a nucleus drop, he is calm because he knows that I'll be downstairs waiting. If there is problem, he'll gives a call, then I can just come up and just finish the same case in one setting. So patient need not be treated for another day or need not be sent in another hospital for the same thing. So that will reduce a lot of stress. So as you have good instruments, this partner supports and partner support encourages one to do better job, then they constantly set the bar higher, and that will improve the quality of work. So good setup will attract more number of paying patients with greater expectations, and that will force you to keep yourself updated and improve yourself. That will also give you a great professional satisfaction. So benefits, what are the benefits of a patient for group practice, from group practice? As the investment is divided and utilization is more, the cost becomes more affordable to the patient, or even we can reduce the cost for the patient who cannot afford. Due to subspecialty development, like if you are in a group practice, someone is glaucoma, someone is retina, someone is cornea, many problems which needed treatment elsewhere can be managed locally, which will be saving inconvenience to the patient and attendants, which would save their working days, money and time. So group practice is to provide quality patient care. As the investment is shared, you'll have good number of instruments, good staff, you can have a better space, get better interiors, there will be a lot of subspecialties and sharing of responsibilities. But there is one main important thing you should be must for good practice is, once you find like-minded people, trust is very important for a group practice. And very important thing is, main thing is financial clarity and integrity. That will keep you together. If there is no financial clarity and integrity, your group practice won't grow and won't last for longer time. So other disadvantages are like, once you are in a group practice, your growth will be fast and your body language changes, you become confident, you can enjoy your vacations without worrying about loss of income when you are not in the hospital, and the growth will be rapid. So group practice is not a moral or social obligation. It is not for achieving easy money with minimal investment and having more personal time, but it is for doing a better quality work. It is not a shortcut to success, but a means to achieve a broader vision. So too many cooks may spoil the broth, but coordinator performance can be sheer delight. So to conclude, if you are in a group practice, you can enjoy your work more than ever before. Then you can be much better off professionally, financially, with a great setup, and you can do up-to-date, top-notch work in your field. Thank you.